Namo Namaha Bhavtam Sarvesham Hardum Swagatam. Welcome all to my channel Sanskrit Sopanam. I hope you are doing great. I'm also good. And recently we completed the chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. And for those of you who are directly coming to this video, so we have a playlist on this channel where we learn Sanskrit through Bhagavad Gita shloka. So the idea is simple. We take the Bhagavad Gita shloka and we decode it thoroughly, understanding all the grammar that is being applied here, all the vocabulary, the sandhi niyams, the vibhakti, shabdrup, pratyay, suffixes, everything. We understand each word individually, and then by step, we understand the entire meaning of the shloka. So whatever concepts we have seen for Sanskrit before, this way we practice those concepts in an actual Sanskrit text. So that is what we do. If you're new to this, you have not seen the playlist, I'll leave the link to the playlist here. You can check that out. We have covered all the 47 shlokas of the chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. And very soon, within a week, I'll start with the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita as well. But before starting with the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is one very important thing that I want to address here in this video. And that important thing is how to approach Bhagavad Gita. What should be the correct way of approaching a text like Bhagavad Gita? Now there are so many books, so many translations available of Bhagavad Gita. All right, Gita Press, the famous press Gita Press, they have a very authentic translation of Bhagavad Gita shloka in almost every language. So you will find the translation in English, Hindi, Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, whatever language, you will find it. If not Gita Press, then there are so many publications that have done this work. So there is no shortage of Gita shloka and translation, right? But this is not what I mean. What I mean is, to understand this work, we need to understand what are Upanishad. And for Upanishad, let us start with the Vedas. And again, I won't go deep into these things because there are so many YouTube videos already present of different Vedas, what are the things, what Vedas cover and everything. I don't want to go deep into that. What point I want to draw your attention for that, I just need a quick refresher on these things. So what is a Veda? There are 4 Vedas that are available with us: Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, right? Now these Vedas, they can be divided broadly into 2 sections. One section is the Karma Kanda, okay, and another section is the Jnana Kanda. So the Karma Kand, this contains the Samhita and the Brahman. What is a Samhita? So this Samhita section, this is also called actually a Mantra Samhita because this section contains all this, the different stuti, the different hymns, the different prayers, the different mantras relating to different Vedic deities. It is contained in this section of Vedas. Okay, the very popular Gayatri Mantra, this of course comes from the Samhita section of Rig Veda. And a supplement part of this section, Samhita, is Brahmana. And what is a Brahmana? So Brahmana deals with all the rituals. So how to perform a ritual, how to perform a yajna, because in those Vedic times, these yajnas, they were very powerful, these sacrificial rituals. So you have this very famous Ashwamedh yajna, right? In Mahabharata, in all these serials, we have seen them performing Ashwamedh yajna. This is a yajna of a highest order. So how to perform any ritual, not just this yajna. So all these details about how to perform a ritual correctly in a proper way, all this detail is present in this Brahmana section. So now you can see how Samhita and Brahmana, they go hand in hand because this Samhita section contains all the mantras and everything, and Samhita contains all the rituals that will use these mantras. And this section, this can be broadly classified as the Karma Kanda section of Veda. Why? Because relating to all these activities of sorts, the rituals and all these things, right? Now, another part of Veda is Aranyaka and Upanishad. And these two deals with the metaphysical things, the philosophical questions, all the metaphysical questions. What is the nature of the reality? What is the nature of God? What is the soul? What is the connection of soul with the God? Is there any God? How is the universe created? Who is behind this creation? And what is the connection? What happens after you die? What happens to the soul? All these metaphysical questions, all these philosophical questions are dealt in these sections, Aranyakas and Upanishad. Okay, and this section of Vedas, this is called the Jnana Kanda. Jnana Kanda, why? Because this deals with the knowledge portion of this. Now coming to this Upanishad. And by traditional counting, there are 108 Upanishads. But among those 108 Upanishads also, there are 10 Upanishads that are the main Upanishads. So you have Upanishads like Ken Upanishad, Ish Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Kath Upanishad. So like that, you have 10 major Upanishad. Okay, so far so good. Now a very important question. How are these Upanishads connected to Bhagavad Gita? What is the connection? So to understand this connection, there is a beautiful Sanskrit shloka that goes like Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vats Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. So this is a shloka. This is from Gita Dhyanam, one of the shloka. This shloka says that Sarva Upanishad, all the Upanishad, Gavaha, they are like the cows. Okay. And Dogdha. So what is Dogdha? Dogdha is the person who milks the cow. The milkman. Not the delivery milkman. The milkman who's actually milks the cow. So Dogdha Gopalanandanaha. Gopalanandana means Shri Krishna, right? And then Parthaha Vats. So Parthaha Vats, Parth means Arjuna, Vats means calf. And Sudhir Bhokta. So Bhokta, all the consumers with Sudhihi. Dhi means intelligence, Su in a good sense. So all the consumers along with Arjuna who have a good intelligence, a virtuous intelligence, Sudhi, and Dugdham, that is milk, Gita Amratam, the nectar of Gita, and Mehat in the highest order, right? So what does this shloka entirely means? Simple as that in this shloka, all the Upanishads, they are compared to the cow. And the milk, the nectar, this nectar is Bhagavad Gita. And who is the milkman? Who is milking the cow? Shri Krishna. So now you can see the connection between Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad. That you have so many Upanishad, 108 Upanishad, maybe more. And all the essence, the complete essence of all these Upanishad are there in this one book, Bhagavad Gita. What you can learn from all the Upanishad, you can learn from this Bhagavad Gita. And the thing does not stop here. Because what Bhagavad Gita excels in is providing the step also. So in Upanishad, you are dealing with all these sorts of questions, right? Who is God and what is the God? What is the highest goal and everything? Okay, so you have the goal established. You have the complete understanding of that goal. But what Bhagavad Gita does differently is it also gives you the practical techniques. It gives you practical applications that you can apply in your day-to-day life as to walk that path, whatever you learn from it. So you have Karma Yoga. What is? That is the path of action, right? Karma Yoga. Then you have Bhakti Yoga, that is path of devotion. And then you have Jnana Yoga, that is path of knowledge. And the Bhagavad Gita very beautifully combines all these three verticals. Now, most of the time, there is a sort of competition between which of this path is better. Whether it is Karma Yoga, the path of action, or the Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, or the Bhakti Yoga, that is the path of devotion. But what we don't understand is all these three verticals go hand in hand. You cannot isolate them. They most definitely go hand in hand. Because very beautifully actually, Swami Chinmayananda, he has said in this commentary on Bhaj Govindam that a philosophy without religion is a lunatic dream, while the religion without philosophy is superstition. And we can understand the thing that with religion actually they mean all the rituals, all the ritualistic acts that we do, that we perform, right? Performing a yajna, performing whatever. So religion combines all these ritualistic acts. So if you are performing all these ritualistic acts but you are not prompting an intellectual query about them, that you are not asking questions as to why I am doing this, as to what is the benefit of doing this, how it is going to help, what is its spiritual significance. If you are not prompting these intellectual queries, then very soon this religion, these rituals will turn into superstition. So a religion without philosophy, without this intellectual query, becomes superstition. And the same goes for philosophy also. That if you're only engrossed in reading and reading, so reading about these things, reading about what Upanishad says, what Bhagavad Gita says, you are memorizing them, this all is completely fine. You understand what is Brahma, you understand what is Brahma Gyan, you understand what is Moksha, and all the other technical jargons. You understand all this, Atman, what is the true reality, what is Purush, what is Prakriti, all this you are understanding. You are completely engrossed in reading. So intellectually you are increasing, that is okay, that is fine. But if you don't apply that intellectual knowledge in your actions, then that is just a utopian dream, is it not? That philosophy without religion is a utopian dream. That, oh, so nice to read about this, that Aham Brahmasmi. Oh, so this is so wonderful that each individual has a potential of being a god. Each individual, in fact, is a god. This is what Vedanta says, right? Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvam Asi. Oh, everyone is God. So, on intellectual level, this sounds very fascinating and you understand it also. But if you don't live it, then it is just a utopian dream, is it not? And by philosophy, you can broadly think of it as the Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge. That the path of knowledge without this Karma yoga, without this rituals, this religion, is just a utopian dream. And the same goes for this religion also, that all this karma yoga, all this action without intellectual queries, without getting the right answers, is just superstition. And the bhakti is as important, because a lot of people actually converse with this thought bhakti, devotion, when anyone says faith or belief. So it creates a sense of dilemma in them, that oh, faith, belief, a tricky ground, right? But Saint Augustine, he has expressed this beautifully, the importance of faith. Saint Augustine has said that faith is when you believe what you do not see, and the reward of this faith is you see what you believe. So the faith is believing in what you do not see. So I do not see all these things, because these things, these experiences are in their nature beyond our intellect. So obviously you are not going to see them as you see the people, the world, the walls, the camera, the mic. So obviously you're not going to see them like that, but you believe. And the faith and the reward of this faith is you see what you believe. And this seeing is you see what you believe. This seeing is not seeing with this physical eyes. This seeing is like experience, that you are going to experience in that supreme reality, in that thing. So faith is equally important. And all these verticals, they go hand in hand. And that is where Bhagavad Gita comes through, because this is a book that time and time will remind you to act karma yoga. Time and time it will give you the proper intellectual answers, that is jnana yoga. And time it will demand you to have faith, to have belief, that is bhakti yoga. So that is the power of Bhagavad Gita, that it combines all these three verticals so beautifully, that it is not just a book that you just read a Sanskrit shloka, you read the translation, and that is done. No, this book has to be, as Osho puts, this book has to be drunk. You have to drink it, you have to imbibe it. So that is the thing. So that is the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Now immediately a question raises, okay, but what is the way? Because this question has troubled me also so much time, that okay, I understand this, I want to do this, how do I do this? So to understand this, this is the second part of our video, sort of. So this goes for all the Sanskrit text. There is a structure that Sanskrit literature follows, right? So you have the main text, and then that main text often contains these verses, these sutras, right? Now you can just read that verse, you can read the sutra, you can get the translation in your own language that you're comfortable with, and you can understand, okay, all right, just a bit of it. But that is not enough. The main essence, the main juice is on reading the commentaries on them. Because in Sanskrit literature, these commentaries, as we, in Sanskrit we say bhashya. This bhashya, this commentary on these seminal works is very important. Is actually at cases, these commentaries are more important than the actual text, because by reading just the actual text you are not going to go very far. So that is where this commentaries comes, this bhashya comes. So Sanskrit follows this thing, that you have a main Sanskrit text, then you will have a commentary on them. What is a commentary? Just elaborating on that point. And you take an example. No, you go to the school, the math teacher comes to the class, he writes one formula. Does he leave? Will he leave that, okay, the formula is given, my work is done, okay, tata, bye? And the students are also like, okay, if you have got the formula, that is it. No, the teacher stays there and teachers elaborate on that formula, that okay, by that formula you understand what is there, but how to use it, what is the application? So that elaboration is required, because you have to understand all this knowledge in our ancient time, it followed a guru shishya parampara, right? So guru learned from his guru. Now that this guru passes all this wisdom to his pupils. Now his pupils, his shishya, they adding their own creativity to it, they then imbibe that information and they pass on. So that was a guru shishya parampara, right? But now we have the internet, so we just pick one book and start reading, but we don't have a guru. So that guru is these commentaries, because they have put their heart out. They have done so much work in writing these commentaries. So many acharyas have given their commentary, right? Starting from Shankaracharya, Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, from contemporary people also. You have Sri Aurobindo, you have, of course, Chinmayanandaji. So many great acharyas have put their commentaries on Bhagavad Gita and other texts also. So you have to find these commentaries and you have to read them. Actually, in Sanskrit text, not just commentaries, there is another layer also. So you have the main text, you have the commentaries that are very important. Then there are Vartika also in some cases. Vartika is like more elaboration on some points of commentary. So some adjustments are made, some corrections are made. That is Vartika. Then you might have heard Tika. So a lot of people know this, that you find some Sanskrit text and you find the Tika. Tika in Hindi, Tika in English. What is Tika? So Tika is generally dealing with all the difficult words, all the difficult terminology. So you can think of Tika as more like glossary. So all the difficult obscure terms, they deal with that Tika essentially. So you have many different layers. The most important and the one that you need to focus is again the Bhashya, the commentaries. Okay. So you have to find this Bhagavad Gita commentary, and whatever shlok you are decoding, we are decoding in this channel. Once you are done with the Sanskrit part, then I think just spare 10-15 minutes more and go through the commentary also, that what all these acharyas have said. You can find one acharya that you relate to with their commentaries. So many great people, Osho have given, again Swami Chinmayananda given. I personally follow Swami Chinmayananda's commentary. But the point here I'm trying to say is, suppose we take any Bhagavad Gita shloka. So there is one very beautiful, very famous Bhagavad Gita shloka that goes like, Krodad bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Smriti Bhramshad Buddhinasho Buddhinasha Pranashyati. Okay, so you have this shloka. So you read this shloka in Sanskrit. Then below that you will also have the translation, which whatever book you are following, you will have the translation also. What the translation will tell you, broadly speaking, Krodad Bhavati Sammo, that from anger comes delusion. Sammohat Smriti Vibhrama, that from delusion comes loss of memory. Smriti Bhramshad Buddhinasha, from the loss of memory comes the destruction of discrimination. Buddhi is discrimination, the power of discrimination. In Hindi, in Sanskrit, we have this another word, Vivek. So Vivek is our power of discrimination, power of discriminating between right, wrong, true, false, important, not important, all this power. So from this loss of memory comes the destruction of this Viveka, Buddhinasha. And Buddhinasho Pranashyati. From this destruction of Viveka, the person, he completely perishes away. So the translation will tell you this very literally, and all the words and everything. So on intellectual level, you understand the entire shloka. You understand what the each word is, what is the vibhakti that is applied here, what is the grammar that is applied here. You also understand the literal translation, the meaning of each word. Everything is fine. But all this thing is still is in the intellectual level only. And it's going to stay that way unless you read a commentary. And when you will read a commentary of any great gurus, any great acharya, when they expand on it, gives you different example, give you different references, explain you beautifully, then that shloka, then the weightage, the importance of that verse, that simple two-line verse, importance of it dawns on you. So that is very important with Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita is not just one book to chant shloka. You can chant the shloka, but this chanting will only do good to those who have actually drunk it, who have imbibed it. From them, this chanting will do good. But if you don't know the meaning, if you don't imbibe it, then all this chanting of Bhagavad Gita, shloka and everything, sorry to say, I don't think can do much good to you. So that is there. Bhagavad Gita is not just some normal book. Bhagavad Gita is a complete handbook which shows you the goal and which also shows you the path. Okay, but without getting carried away further, let me just quickly show you where you can actually start right now. If you are not familiar with these commentaries and everything, there is one place where you can start. So let me just show you that. Okay, so the one source I want to tell you is this, gitasupersite.iitk.ac.in. Okay, so this is a website that is maintained by IIT Kanpur, and here you have this Bhagavad Gita thing. You have this script, so you can choose different languages. Then you have all the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, and then you have all the shlokas for each chapter. Again, the very good thing about this site is, if you open this translations and commentaries, so they have a bunch of options here only. That you have a Hindi translation by Swami Ramasukhadas, then you have Hindi commentaries by Chinmayananda Ramasukhadas, then you have Sanskrit commentary also, then you have English commentaries also, English translation of Sanskrit commentaries. So they give you a lot of options, and you can choose whatever. You can try different acharyas, different commentaries, whatever sticks with you, whatever commentaries you can relate more. You can relate with the language, with the presentation well. So you can stick with that. So that choice is completely yours. But this website is there. Again, the address is gitasupersite.iitk.ac.in. Okay. So you can visit this site and explore it on your own time. Wonderful work by IIT Kanpur. At one place you are getting so many options of different commentaries, right? Okay. And again, as I mentioned, that I personally follow Swami Chinmayananda's commentary on Bhagavad Gita. And if you want to follow this one, you can always go to their website, Chinmaya Mission, Chinmaya Foundation. You can find it, and you can find these books also for all the different chapters. Right. But again, the only important point is, I hope I have made it clear by now. Don't just stop at reading the Bhagavad Gita shloka and reading the translation and thinking that this is enough. No, it is not enough. We don't have a guru right now. At this day and age, we don't have a personal guru. And all these things past, all this wisdom stayed by because of that Guru Shishya Parampara. But now, okay, we don't have the guru. What else? But we have their work, their work in the form of commentary. So please, whenever we are encountering any Gita shloka, in your old time, also devote some time to go through the commentary on Bhagavad Gita shloka to understand what is the true essence of that shloka and then try to imbibe it in you. So that is just my request here. See, a lot of you might be older than me, much more experienced than me. So I don't think how eligible I am to give any one of you any advice. But it is just out of utter reverence for Bhagavad Gita text, I am saying this. Give chance to these commentaries so that we can enjoy the true essence of Bhagavad Gita, text like Bhagavad Gita. We are learning Sanskrit through Bhagavad Gita, and that is good, that is wonderful. Our Sanskrit definitely is going to improve a lot. I hope after completing the chapter 1, a lot of you gained some confidence in understanding Sanskrit, how these words are structured and everything. So Sanskrit wise definitely is going to help, but don't just stop there. Enjoy more, because Bhagavad Gita has a potential of transforming your life. But again, having said this, soon I'm going to start with the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. I'll see you in that video. Until then, stay awesome, stay happy. Vayam punah milamaha. Dhanyavad.